Hello, 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 and welcome to Friday Night Live. Ooh, that's a pretty high view of the camera there. No crash again tonight. For those of you wondering, he's still hiding out in the basement. I've had my dog 4 weeks tomorrow, and he's getting a little braver. I did put him in here the other day. I put him on the back here. He stayed for a little bit, but then he wanted to go back down cellar. So we'll see. But he is getting a little bit braver. He will join the other cat who he doesn't, well, she doesn't like him, on the stairs right on the other side of the cat door. Um, my dog, Lucy, is generally sitting with her head in the cat door. So that's why they don't really want to come up. But sounds like one of the cats may have batted the dog on the nose today. So I think once they establish their dominance, they'll make more of an appearance up here. I hope so anyway. I kind of miss my little buddy up here watching me craft. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every Friday night at 7:30, I like to come to you live with a stamping project. And it's usually a card, especially right now when I am in the process of doing my 12 Sundays of Christmas projects, which are typically 3D projects. They're gift packaging or gifts themselves. And so I've got one more of those left to go. So this Sunday, I am concluding my 12 Sundays of Christmas and getting my Sundays back. Well, getting another day back because I pre-record them. But I wanted to show you a project tonight that features a product from my upcoming year-end retreat. So last year, I decided to do a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day kind of retreat. And it actually starts on December 30th and goes through January 1st. It is all virtual because sometimes it's, first of all, who knows where everybody is right now? You could be home, you could be somewhere else um, bringing in the new year. But I wanted to make sure that you had access. And sometimes when you live where I live, it snows. So that kind of makes retreating a little bit difficult. So, I wanted to show you the products that I'll be featuring in that retreat. We're going to be featuring the Floral Charm Designer Series paper, which has some beautiful patterns in it. I love this paper. It's one of my favorites. Right up there with, I forgot what it was called that I used last year. Um, but there's the paper, and you're going to get the Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots. And you're also going to get the petal pink braided trim. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use this. In fact, I'll show you one way tonight. We're going to make a card together. And this is not going to be one of the retreat cards. So for the retreat, there are going to be several pre-recorded videos. And then there are going to be a couple of live Zooms where everybody can join in. But we're going to have lots of projects. Last year, I did a one sheet wonder where we did 13 cards. And then I did a couple other projects that were fun folds. And I'll show you some techniques. So this year will be similar. I don't know. I'm not probably going to do a 13 card one sheet wonder. I may do a one sheet wonder that's a little bit smaller in nature and have more projects the other way. But it'll be fun, but you need to register soon because that designer series paper is on low inventory and it really is beautiful. Now you don't need the stamp set and the dies to go with it. However, it really makes a beautiful suite. So I would get it, and I did get it. But let's turn our attention to the card. So I'm going to turn you down now, and we will get started. Let's see. All right, I just need to adjust my camera a little bit so that y'all can see what's going on, and that is not how you adjust your camera. That's going to be problematic. Let's see if we can fix it a little bit. Okay, there we go. Where are my usual friends? Not joining me tonight. They must be must be a bunch of Christmas parties going on. Well, if you're watching on the replay, welcome. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is um, get out some paper. Now, I'm not going to actually use the paper, but I wanted to show you the patterns. I love this. I love Pretty Peacock. So pretty. And then there's this. Makes a great fall paper. And there's the pinks. Again, another nice summer or summer. Yeah, probably summer, maybe fall. I mean, I guess you could make it spring too. And it's just got some nice monochromatic patterns on the other side. Makes a beautiful spring pattern. And I love this one too, another perfect spring one. But I'm going to bring in tonight, I'm going to bring in the stamp set. Now, as I mentioned, you don't have to get the stamp set to participate in this retreat because I'm mostly going to be focusing on the designer series paper. I will provide you with any die cuts that you need that come from the Charming Day dies. And let me show you what those are. Because Stampin' Up! Won't let me send stamped images, so you'll have to make some substitutions if you don't have the stamp set. But I can die cut all day long. And so when you look at these dies, there are 3 outline dies. So this one, and this one right here that match up with the stamped images from the Charming Day stamp set, which I do have right here somewhere because here we go. So it matches up with these pieces right here. But then you can see that there are several wonderful sentiments. A happy birthday, a thanks for being you, a hey, which is like a hi. Can't wait to see you again. So this will go for several different you know, styles of card, whether you want a thank you card or a birthday card, etc. But also, then there are several dies in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that just die cut. They're not matched up with anything, any stamps. They're just themselves. So I think this is a beautiful, beautiful set. But again, I will die cut for you in that retreat. Anything that you need, whether it's from this die set or if it's from, say another one like Everyday Arches, which I'll use tonight. I mentioned the Charming Day stamp set. Now, if you order these two together and you place an order in my online store also for, uh, well, technically it doesn't even have to be my online store. It can be, if you're a demonstrator, it can be your own store. The Floral Charm Designer Series paper and the Petal Pink braided trim and these beautiful shimmer faceted dots, which are pretty low profile, by the way. If you place an order for all of these items, because several of them are on clearance, the dies alone are half off. And I think the braided trim is too. And the dots are on sale. So all of this comes to $64. If you just order another $11 item or items to get to $11 or more, you'll qualify for free shipping if you order tonight. Plus, you'll qualify for the product of the month this month, which is some beautiful blue paper, blue florals designer series paper. I think that's what it's called. I haven't gotten mine yet. It's on its way, but I didn't expedite, so I didn't get it. But you will, so it's a great deal, and you're going to get Stampin' Rewards. So let's get started, and I'm going to just create something with just the stamp set, maybe the dies and some other dies. All right. So I'm going to bring in some colors that are used, however, in this paper. And I'm taking my inspiration from this sheet right here. And I'm going to bring in the Mossy Meadow, that's this, and the Petal Pink, which is that. this will make a beautiful wedding card, by the way. Doesn't have to be, but it's gonna be a beautiful wedding card. All right. And when you're in the cold winter months, now's the time to get ahead. Start making those birthday cards. Start making even next year's Christmas cards. I know one of my customers has already started thinking about that. Isn't that right, Reba? Reba and I were texting. She's in Texas, and we were texting today. And she was showing me one of the cards that she was thinking about for an upcoming Christmas card. All right, so this is a regular card base of petal pink. Petal pink is one of those colors that I wasn't really crazy about, and I don't think it's because of the color itself. Hi, Ann, nice to see you. I don't think I didn't like it because of the color itself, more that I didn't like the name of the cardstock, because to me, this has nothing to do with pink. This is a peach, and I really like it, and it goes with a lot of things, but it is not a pink to me. So that always just, I don't know, I have a little hang up about that, I think. Let's go ahead. I'm going to cut another little layer. I don't think I have a layer sized piece of scrap in here. I might. Not big enough. So I'm going to cut a 4 by 5¼ inch layer. There we go. And that's going to go right on my card front, but I want to put some texture on here first, I think. And so instead of getting my emboss, well, you know what? I'm going to let you choose. I can bring in some embossing folders. Let's see what we've got here. What am I going to give you for a choice? We could do birch wood. We could do exposed brick, which I like a lot with florals. Um, or we can use the damask designs. Which one of those would you like to see me do? Hi, Linda. Nice of you to join us from Idaho. Is it cold in Idaho tonight? All right, so there we have those. I gotta put my other pieces. So let me know what you want to see me do for a background here. I can do birch wood, exposed brick, or damask designs. And for those who may be just joining in, we're using the Charming Day stamp set, if that influences what you want. Anne is choosing the brick. I kind of have to say I was hoping that you would choose the brick. Let's go ahead and use the brick so we're not delaying any longer. All right, now I need to find my embossing stuff. So I need to find my embossing plate. There's my specialty plate here. And then I need to find my embossing machine. So I've been busy trying to get ahead of things. I'm not getting ahead very fast. In fact, I'm getting kind of behind, but you know what? I'll get there eventually. But the thing that I actually have some ideas, so that's great. That's a step in the right direction. So because this is the exposed brick is a 3D embossing folder, I'm going to put my paper in there, and I'm going to want my design to be portrait. I have a little bit of a thought of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put it in portrait and then add my number 4 plate. You had some high 50s, but dropping down to 40 starting tomorrow. Oh, Linda, if only it were that warm here. Oh my goodness. Now, see, I expected you to say that your temperature was probably about like it is here. guess not. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna put this right on my card base. There we go. I'm not gonna use dimensions though, dimensionals, because I'm gonna use some dimensionals later and I don't want things to get too thick. Now, I always have I think I want to put it on this side. You can really set this folder up to go any way you want. Oh, let me show you something. Look at what I made, everybody. So this is my new little glue poker. So it's just this large little needle here. And this is how I get my point unstuck. But isn't it sparkly and pretty? It's my it's the colors sort of my brand. It's so sparkly and pretty. We made those at a recent team event. Not those, because those beads were, I had to go out and buy them specifically for myself. Somebody else did that craft portion of the meeting of the Christmas party that we had, and so we made some other ones. So we made some of these. Still pretty, but not dazzling like this. Anyway, okay, so we have our base. Now we need to turn to our focal point, and I'm going to be using this image right here. So I'm going to need some white cardstock. Never mind the big bangs that you hear. That's just me putting piles upon piles and half of them falling apart. You guys do that? What? Tell me, for those of you who are watching right now, I want to know, what does your craft area look like right now? Go ahead and tell me honestly what it looks like. If it's beautiful, I want to hear that too, so I can be super envious. Now, this is a new stamp set to me. I got it just for my retreat that I'm going to be doing. So let's see. I'm going to peel this off. This is one way of mounting stamps. There's another way that involves a clear block. But this way, I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to do it this way. And you just want to line up the outline with the outline that's here. You're just basically setting it upon the sticky part. I'm trying to look at all your places and get it in there, and then it peels right off. All right, so let's now get my block. So, Lorray, color me crazy cards. I'm not sure what your name is or how you pronounce it, but don't ask. I haven't cleaned up from yesterday's crafting yet. Oh, if only it were for just yesterday for me. Ooh. I have such good intentions, and then I don't know. I just get distracted, probably because I hate cleaning. I mean, let's face it, I'd rather craft. I'm sure we all would. All right, so I'm going to bring in some of my light petal pink markers, my blends. And then I need to bring in some of my other blends. And I think those I need to find from another crafting session. So I did that's not it. That's not it. Oh, I found them. Let's see. So we've got Mossy Meadow, and there's light Mossy Meadow. Yeah, that's good. That's good. We're just going to do a little quick coloring. So I like to start with my lights. And if you have trouble opening your blends, squeeze right here, right right in the black part before the cap. It kind of helps keep everything together. And I'm just going to color using the side of it, and I'm very gentle with the tip of my blends. Because if you mash it up, those tips are just not going to last very well. And I like to only do one color at a time because they blend better that way. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to kind of outline some of the pieces. And you can see I'm not being very careful. And I'm just going to go back. And for blending, I really like the bullet point. And I just sort of soften those hard edges there. And just helps that kind of come alive a little bit. I probably should have made the inside darker than the outside. That's all right. What color am I on? Boy, I don't have ADHD, but I sure sound like it tonight. I recognize it because my kids, at least one of them certainly has it. Gaming generation are much more prone. All right, so there's that. Now let's go ahead and color our leaves. So that was pretty quick. It's a very nice open kind of stamp, so there's not a lot of little pieces to color in here. Oh wait, I'm trying to sort out this. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear. You did actually tell me that in a private message though, Linda. I'm sure that it's a little difficult coming up on this particular season, uh, knowing that next month is the anniversary. So we are so sorry for your loss. All right, let's see. Now this mossy meadow is a little bit darker than probably I would normally like, but it's winter, and so I think the darker, bolder colors kind of serve well. I could always lighten it up using the color lifter, but I'm going to keep it dark. I'm going to just add some shading with the um, Mossy Meadow Dark right now. And I'm just going to kind of do that right along the line here, maybe a little bit around the bottom of the edges. No, I'm not being real careful here. That's what I love about blends is you can just blend some of those little errors away if you do make a mistake. And don't worry if at first it doesn't look like things are blending. Um, it just takes a minute for it to kind of work. They have to dry and they get all pretty. It really is a bit of a process. And the more that you blend, the better you'll get at it. And the more that you blend in a particular section, the better off it will look as well. You can just keep adding layers of color. I'm going to turn it so I can do the other one. I could have also used maybe some old olive. That would work okay. I could blend some of them together. Old olive would be a lighter color. I forgot to put my microphone on. Well, fortunately, my son is not in the background kind of yelling. You know, Crash isn't around to meow his way around because of the dog that I mentioned earlier. Still has not come out of hiding from the dog. He's getting closer though, as I mentioned before. He's at least coming up on the steps a little bit of the cellar. getting ready to poke his head out a little bit, I think. I forced him out, I don't know, Monday, I think it was. And so Tuesday he hid from me when he saw me coming because he was afraid I was going to force him out again, I think. It's so funny because he's just the most chill cat. Um, I don't know. Maybe he thinks Lucy's going to eat him. But one of the cats got him tonight. My husband heard a little bit of a yelp, and my son said she looked like she had a little spot on her nose that was bleeding. She asked for it. Stick your head through the cat door. What do you expect to find, right? All right, let's see. Lorray. Oh, that's pretty. I have not, I don't think, ever heard of Lorray before. I don't know any other Lorrays. Is it a combination of somebody else's names, or is it a little bit more common where you're from? All right, let's see. Let's see if we can die cut this. I think I need a little bit of a piece of tape in here just to, oops, sorry, didn't mean to wiggle that. Oh, here's my tape. Let me hold this down so I can get a good die cut from it. So at work today, so for those of you who don't know, I work at a church, and we hosted Toys for Tots. Um, not we are just the host site, so we had the Toys for Tots people come in and like 1, 2, and 3, and my husband volunteered. I just sort of ran around. I was working today. Tomorrow I have to go in and help them. I just need a top plate. That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. And it's always such a nice time, but that's what I'm doing the rest of this weekend. Well, Saturday, I'm going to be opening the building for Toys for Tots again. I had a good turnout this year. Um, the woman that organizes it for our area said that her numbers increased because they have people register in advance. Her numbers increased by like 400 kids this year, which is crazy to me. Man, that- that's telling you what the times are like right now for sure. All right, now while I have my um, die cutting machine out, I should have done this earlier. I'm going to cut a couple of, I think just these. I think I'll cut a couple of these. Let's go ahead and bring in some other cardstock. So I know that I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be using that with some other dies in just a moment. Ignore that sound. That's just more stuff falling because this place is a wreck. All right. Can't. I've already lost my dies. Well, let's see. I need some old olive, I think. Just going across the room to get some old olive. Did did get some earlier, but I can't find it. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces of old olive from here. And let's see. We also need my everyday arches dies, I think. So let's let my images be here. I'm going to take 2 of them. And I don't know what size I want. Ooh, that looks nice right there, right? That's about the right size, I think. So I want this, and let's go one size larger. All right, so I'm taking the 3rd and 4th largest arch dies. And we're going to cut that from Well, the largest one we'll cut from white, and the smaller one we'll cut from the mossy meadow. Let's see if I can find a smaller mossy meadow. Nope, that's too. Oh, that might. I think I can make that work. I can make it work. I've got skills. All right. Let's bring our thing back in here. Bring in our plates. So I'm going to be cutting 2 of these from my old olive. I don't need I don't need a piece that large, so let's trim that down. So we can put this on here, and this is gonna have to fit exactly. So we wanna make sure so it doesn't shift, I'm gonna put this little tape down because this piece of mossy meadow is about as small as it can get and still fit this on here. And then we're going to remember, send it through so that that hard edge doesn't go parallel to the rollers. I'm going to put this on the top. All right. Your dad named you Lorraine Desmond. Oh, huh. And have you listened to Lorraine Desmond's music, Lorraine? For those of you who can't see the comments, I was asking earlier how Lorraine pronounces her name, and so she told me, and then just said that her father named her after a singer named Lorraine Desmond. So now I'm just asking her if she has ever listened to Lorraine Desmond's music and if it's any good. All right, so now we need a piece of basic white, and we're going to cut another arch. We're going to cut the larger arch out of that. Again, put it on an angle. This one's not nearly as tight, so I don't need any tape. All right. I think my die cutting's just about done here. I think I'm going to be good. Here we go. And here we go. All right. I'm going to put my die cutting out of the way, but just in case I need it, I won't go too far. So, all right. Do you know what I did? I cut them out of the same size. That was dumb. All right. Take 2. Now, I thought we were friends. How come you didn't tell me I was making that mistake? I'm just kidding. Probably nobody knew. It's hard to see, hard to tell what they are. Let's save this for another project. Good thing I didn't put my die cutting machine very far away. Oh, tonight is a long Friday Night Live. Sorry about that. But, it's one of those weeks. Well, I'm going to try after this. I'm going to try to look up Lorraine Desmond, Lorraine, and see if I can find some of her music. All right. So now I have something that looks like this. And I'm going to we're almost there. I'm going to put this on it. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's bring in my card base. Oh, wait. I wanted it on the rounded side. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we've got this. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. This is working. I've got it. Let's layer this on here. Now this almost looks like a banner. I mean, it's not cut like a banner. It's not, it doesn't have that banner bottom, but there are sometimes banners that are made from rounded pieces. So if I were to bring in a hole punch, again, don't mind the noise of things dropping. It's just adding to the mess. At this point, whatever. All right, I'm gonna punch a hole over here. I'm gonna punch a hole over here. They're almost the right places where they should be. And so I'm gonna put this, right on here like that. Our sentiment's gonna go right there. I think for a sentiment, we're gonna have to emboss because Mossy Meadow is so dark. So let's go ahead and bring our stamps back in so that we can emboss. Would be super helpful if I knew where that stamp box was. Here it is. Phew, found it. Let's go with the happy birthday is pretty long. Let me see. I could split it up into 2 lines if I wanted to, I suppose. You know what? The happy birthday fits right across there though. So let's do that. Now I showed you how to mount before. I'm going to show you the other method of mounting in case it's been a while or in case you've never seen this. So if you look at, if you take this whole piece off, the sticker and the backing, and stick it to a clear block. A lot of times I try to get this split edge up first before I transfer it, but it is easy enough to peel it up here. Then you're going to peel off the back to this one. And let's flip it over. And you're going to line up, and I can see the outline of the sticker. I'm going to line it with the outline of the stamp. And there we go, a perfectly mounted stamp. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna stamp this right, probably a little more than an inch down from the top. All right, let's get our embossing out. We're gonna go with the basics. Ooh, I should find out where my heat tool is. I found it. It's good. We can use it. So my basics have clear black and white in them. And I've marked the white cap as a W because the clear looks kind of white. And so when you're grabbing it quickly, you can very easily make a mistake. Very easily. Ask me how I know. And I'm going to just take my embossing buddy to prep that surface. And yes, I should have stamped on the Mossy Meadow before I adhered it to the white, but I didn't. So there's that. I'm going to ink my stamp in Versamark, which is a nice an ink that is slow drying. Let's see, hopefully I get this straight. The font is such that it's a little forgiving, which is fantastic. I caught an edge because there's a lot here over on this edge. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I hate it when that happens. So we're going to need this little brush for sure. And that, folks, is just an educational opportunity for you that you should always stamp first before you stick. And then you don't have to worry about it because I could have just flipped this guy over and it would have been fine because the everyday arch is symmetrical vertically. Have no fear. My embossing tool kit comes with this beautiful little brush that I'm gonna brush away any of that white stuff. And I know it looks like you can see that ink. It will fade some as it dries. Will it fade completely? Probably not. But I've got a plan. Okay. So now let's get out our heat tool. And we're going to make that stuff shiny and pretty. Gotta unplug a few things there. Lots of stuff plugged in. All right. Just gonna let this heat up for just a little bit. And then we'll let it hit our embossing powder. And the embossing powder is just small little teeny tiny little pieces of plastic. So when the heat tool hits it, it melts it, makes it bright white and shiny, and it becomes a raised image. All right, there we go. And we still have this nice little piece over here, but we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. So I can stick this on here. Now, remember, I did have some trim that I was going to use. So this is another part of the product that I'm going to be using for my retreat. And you can use it whole, but if you're obviously not going to tie a ribbon with this, but you can just string it across if you wanted to. So I could feed this through. I'd probably want a bigger hole to do that because this is not going to go through as it is. But another thing that you can do is you can separate the strands. And by the way, you can separate them and just use them as kind of a textured background all on their own. It's really, really pretty. But what I'm going to do is separate this, and I'm going to end up with basically a whole bunch of baker's twine. I mean, because this is really this trim right here, it's about a 12 ply of baker's twine. So for every foot of regular baker's twine, you're going to get 12 feet once you undo it, which makes this roll last forever. You know how sometimes you're afraid to use ribbon, or at least I am, because like, it's gonna disappear so quickly, and I'm gonna need to order more, which is not really a problem, but I mean, those of us who hoard designer series paper, we say the same thing, right? I don't know why we just don't buy more, but we don't. But with this, I don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna have this for years, unless I use it um, as a piece that goes across, but I love I love so many different ways that you can use this braided ribbon or braided trim. And I'm going to show you a few ways in my retreat. All right, so I'm just going to cut this because the end when you get it is taped off so it doesn't fray in root. All right, I've got this little 3-strand here. And we can put this through. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. It's always easier to get it to go through that way. Well, I got 2 of them to go through. The third one, we'll just push through. There we go. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other end. I'm going to fold it in half just because it's easier to get it all to go through at once, or mostly once. Here we go. Okay. And then we could just, if you wanted to do a bow, obviously you'd have to make it longer. But we've got these. See, it's not long enough for me to tie a bow. So I've got that. Another way I could have dealt with it is just leave the ends so that it's like a banner. It's part of a banner. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this little knot here. And I'm going to tie it over to the side a little bit. Use 3 strands, she said. It'll be easy and fun. I didn't say that. I mean, I would have if I'd thought about it, but it wasn't at the moment. And so then you can just trim the ends. And they have this like really cool, just kind of messy kind of look. And it also covers up some of that error over there. Look at that. No problem. See, I told you I had a plan. Now for this, let's go ahead and put this up on dimensionals. Let's see. I've got some here. So I'm going to put one right here. Put one right here. So anybody else got any plans tomorrow? Anybody Christmas shopping? I'm not. I let my husband do most of that for the kids. All right, now we're just going to add this right here. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. And if I just stay away from the big leaves, all I need is this in here. So again, even though I'm using items that will be used in my retreat, this is not, the stamp set is not being used in the retreat, except for maybe some words, but you can always substitute your words. All right, now if I want to bring in some gems, let's see, where are those gems? They're right here. So these shimmer gems are so sparkly and they're nice and flat. They're not the big kind of dots that are so raised that they're going to be a problem in the mail. So let's go ahead and add a couple of these guys. So I'm going to go here, and there's 2 different sizes of them. Here, here. This adds a little bit more sparkle. If you wanted to add even more sparkle, and you have a wink of Stella around, like I happen to. Looks like it's got frosting on it. Could it be that I was eating cookies and crafting at some point? So I'm going to just take some of my wink of Stella and I'm just going to add that over the top. Now, by the way, wink of Stella does seem to blend also with the colors. So if you were particular and didn't want some of your colors to be blending, you wouldn't want to use wink of Stella. But this just puts just a nice soft shimmer. Anne is finishing up her Christmas shopping. She's almost done. That's a good feeling, isn't it? The worst part is now it's time to wrap. But there's our card. And the inside is light enough so that we don't actually have to do anything. What I think I might do in this case, if I wanted to add a little bit of decoration on the inside, I'm not going to get a new stamp out because you've already seen me go ahead and mount it 2 different ways. That's all I know, 2 different ways to mount. I'm gonna clean this large one, and I'm gonna get my Petal Pink ink pad out, which I always have to look very carefully for, and I can only find it with my Stampin' Write marker, which is retired now, because the color on the ink, the label is just not right. All right, now I believe this is the pad this is one of my pads that's pretty dark. I'm gonna bring in a piece of scrap paper so that I can stamp off once. Yeah, it's pretty dark. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp down in this corner. Just adds a little bit. And then let's go ahead and stamp up in this corner. And of course you can write over it. But that is our card. So as I was mentioning, if you want to participate in my retreat that is coming up at the end of the year, December 30th to January 1st, you're going to want to register, and the link will be in the description of this video. It is $55. You will receive a full package of the Designer Series paper. Let me get that back out. Full pack of the Designer Series paper. You will receive a full roll of the braided trim, which rolled onto the floor, so I'm not going to get it, but this stuff. And then you will receive a full package of those gems and all the cardstock and layers and die cuts and envelopes that you will need to create all the projects for the retreat. Again, there are going to be 5 sessions for the retreat. 3 of them pre-recorded, 2 of them live. We'll also play a game for prizes, and it'll be fun. Now, if you want to participate, but you want to purchase your own gems and braided trim and Designer Series paper so that you can get toward the $75 mark and free shipping tonight, or the $75 mark, which gets you the product of the month, which is a beautiful Designer Series paper, then you can order that yourself and then just get the $30 ticket for the retreat, and I will send you all the things that you need with the exception of those 3 products. If you don't have the Charming Day stamp set and dies, it's not a problem, but it really is beautiful and makes such lovely cards that I think you might like it. And getting the 3 products for the retreat and the stamp set and the dies are 50% off, remember, for that one. Then you will only have $11 more to go to qualify for the free shipping and the product of the month. So oh, look I didn't use these things that I cut. Oh, can I put them in now? Not really. Oh, I guess I can. I'll adhere them later. But oh, look, it does add a lot more when you put some more. Look at how much better that looks. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so but you want to register soon because the Designer Series paper is on low inventory. It is really great paper, so I would order it tonight. I'm going to actually order a couple of packs tonight, just hedge my bets on some people not being able to get it. So it will be first come, first served at registration time for those that want me to get it for them. All right, I think that's it, my friends. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for putting up with Scatterbrain Sharon tonight. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend. We will see you soon. Don't forget to join me on Sunday for my last 12 Sundays of Christmas project. See you then.